If you're feeling drained in your relationships or exhausted at work, then this video is for you. This is Dr. Shannon Tran, Efficiency Executive Coach, and I help busy professionals be able to earn more, work less, and enjoy life. In this video, I want to share 5 tips for avoiding burnout. Now, I don't know about you, but it's so easy to get inundated with all the projects you've got going in your life, all the roles, all the things that need to get done. And I remember not too long ago, I was feeling really drained at work and I was feeling exhausted and I started to just feel kind of restless and irritable and frustrated, and I start to tell myself things like, "Oh, I'm working too hard, and this sucks, and I can't keep this up, and this job is too much." And maybe you can relate to that if you ever told yourself that. And maybe it's not towards work, maybe it's towards a relationship, right? If you don't take care of yourself, it's really easy to get burned out. And in fact, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling overwhelmed, that's usually a red flag, a sign that you're headed towards burnout. And you want to start to implement these 5 tips before you get to burnout. Because once you get burned out, once you get exhausted, you're going to need a lot more time to recover. Right? And you might end up being reactive in your relationships or doing things impulsively, like quitting your job or yelling at your kids or your spouse or your partner, whatever it may be. And so we can end up being really reactive when we're exhausted and overworked. So it's really important that you learn how to avoid burnout. Okay, so tip number 1 for avoiding burnout is you've got to listen to your body. How many times do you ignore your body? Maybe you don't eat regularly. Maybe you skip lunch. Maybe you don't drink water. Maybe you don't even allow yourself to go to the bathroom. Like, I literally have some clients that would tell me they don't have time to go to the bathroom. So are you ignoring your body? If your body is saying, "I need to rest," do you ignore it? Do you constantly override it? And it's really important that you start to listen to your body, because your body will communicate to you before your mind is aware of the problem. Your body will communicate to you through your emotions, through how it's feeling physically. So listen to your body and pay attention. What is your body telling you? Tip number 2 is take time off of your busy day to connect with yourself. So many times we're just in our head all day, or overthinking, that we don't even feel connected to who we are. And we can end up feeling isolated and disconnected from ourselves, the people around us, and that can really lead to feeling unfulfilled. So take a few minutes to just connect with yourself. It could be just checking in with yourself at the end of the day and asking yourself, how are you doing? So one of the things that I teach my clients to do is when they're leaving work, is to be able to take 5 minutes on the drive home to connect with themselves, checking in. How am I feeling? How does my body feel? What did I experience today? Just checking in with themselves and just saying, how are you? What do you need? And that 5 minutes to connect with yourself might be, you know what, I need to take 10 minutes to just make a transition before I get home so I can be the best version of myself. And when we check in with ourselves, we get to assess where we're at. Maybe we need to just be aware of how stressful something was, or, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten today, whatever it may be for you. But take time every day to connect with yourself. It could be just 5 minutes in your car. If you want to journal, that's fine. Grounding, meditation, all of those are great, simple ways to take a little bit of time each day to connect with yourself. So tip number 3 to avoid burnout is have strong boundaries. So this can be a whole video on itself, because there's so many nuances to our boundaries, but essentially checking in with yourself. Are you constantly saying yes when you really want to say no? Do you give in just to people please? Like, do you even have boundaries? Look at your work schedule. Are you constantly working? Or do you have a boundary where you say, okay, by this time, I'm going to turn off my computer, I'm going to turn off my phone, or not? Or same thing with emails, like really looking at what are your boundaries? Because when we don't have good boundaries, we will overfunction, we will overwork, we will burn out and get depleted. So check in. Do you have healthy boundaries emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually? And again, this can go really deep. I actually have a book on setting healthy boundaries like a pro. So if you know that this is an issue for you, and for a lot of people it is, you may want to work on your boundaries. Tip number 4 is give yourself permission to do nothing. This can be really difficult for high achievers or people who feel they have to be productive all the time. And I know for me, what I had to work on is my mindset around, if I'm doing nothing, it means I'm lazy, or I've got to be doing something all the time. And some people who are high achievers have a really difficult time turning off that productivity and allowing themselves to do nothing because they feel guilty. Give yourself permission to rest, to do nothing, to rejuvenate yourself. Even the highest performers, the highest athletes, and really top performers know that they need time to rejuvenate. So check in with yourself. Are you giving yourself time to rejuvenate, to relax, to enjoy your life, to do nothing? Or do you think you have to be productive all the time, thinking you have to be on all the time? All right, finally, tip number 5 is balance being with doing. What does that mean? If you're engaging in activities all the time, doing, so caught up in just tasks that need to be done and so task oriented, and you're not looking at how are you being. So here's an example. Let's just say the task is your kid's homework, right? Because that can be a big challenge for a lot of us. The task is your kid's homework, and you're so focused on it just getting done. But the way that you're doing is you're yelling at your kids, you're nagging, you're making it really unpleasant for you and your kid. That could be an example. Or dinner, or getting ready in the morning. Like, one of the things that I really needed to work on for me personally was I wanted to start my day in a positive state, in a state where I felt excited about my day. And what I realized was that the way I was being in the morning was really rushed. And so I would already start my day expecting to be rushed. Oh my gosh, I've got to get my kids' lunches ready. Oh, they're not waking up and it's time to get ready for school. Rush. And I would start out my day already in a rush, and my state of being was very rushed. So you want to balance it and ask yourself, okay, how do I want to be when I'm doing this task? I want to be relaxed. I want to be positive. I want to be, I want to have a positive attitude. I want to enjoy it. And so balance what you're doing with what you're being. And sometimes it does mean we've got to do less, right? Sometimes we're overdoing, and we really need to focus on how we want to be. How do we present ourselves? How do we want to experience our task? Not just doing it, but how do we want to experience? Who do we want to be when we're doing the daily task, whether it's dinner or having a meeting or spending time with your children or chores, whatever it is for you, really looking at how can I balance what I'm doing with who I'm being. And when you do that, it reduces burnout because you're connected with the type of person you want to be. You're connected with your values and how you want to show up in your relationships. And so you will feel more fulfilled, right? Because you're being the person you want to be, and that will lead you to feel better about yourself, more proud of yourself, more accepting of yourself. So again, in order to avoid burnout, practice these 5 tips. And in summary, tip number 1 is listen to your body. Tip number 2 is give yourself time off. Pace yourself. Tip number 3 is have strong boundaries. Tip number 4 is give yourself permission to do nothing. And finally, tip number 5 is balance your being with your doing, and so you can be in a state of harmony. And when you're in harmony, life flows. You're a positive influence. You experience great things in your life. You're a delight to be around. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you would like to learn how to be even more productive and be able to get more done in less time and enjoy the process along the way, reach out to me at support@shannontranphd.com, and I will send you my 7 productivity tips for high achievers. Okay, have a great day.